Ii-problems zethu namadoda ziyi-one ziyafana. Singahlala sebayi-15 omnye usuka eRussia omnye usuka phi. Xa sithetha about how we experience ii-females, I think izitori zethu almost the same. Athi omnye hayi akoneli, omnye hayi ayibona into endenzayo, and then the other person athi I feel like this person doesn't listen.
I've felt that it's difficult sometimes to articulate a lot of the experiences that I have in the relationship as the man.
Ndiyeke noxoka,
Of course.
ndithi mhlawumbi ndiyayithanda i-cooking yakho kanti xa ndisiya emsebenzini ndijule isikhaftina ndivula ifestile akhona amadoda.
Why can't we say anything? That's the problem. Is that that's the issue? Is that so? Gasbuta man, the message now that we have, Abba, is that we don't seem to hear each other in a relationship, right? A man has particular needs, right? And those needs can be fulfilled by a woman. If only a woman could allow themselves to listen to the man from the man's perspective about what it is that this guy is looking for, and be able to take a pinch when the change needs to come from her as a person. Because some of the things that females would ask of us is for us to change as indoor. And that's not an easy thing to acknowledge, that there's a part of me that I've been accepting and living because that's who, and now this person has shown me that this way of engaging hurts me in this way, and a man needs to find a way to adjust to that. But that's not an easy thing to do. But when you get that feedback,
why it's not an easy, I call sustainable.
Yeah, no, but in a sense of there are those things that you don't want to change as a man, definitely. But there are those ways of moving that hurt the relationship that you will need to adjust, and that's also not an easy thing to do. But now, when the roles are reversed, when you're asking of a female to make changes, we need somebody who's gonna hear it from our perspective, not from a place of we're trying to break you down as a person. We need someone who
xa sihleli sile kanje mna ndiyayi-understanda exactly le nto ndixelayo. I-problem ipha. I think i-communication as-understandani. And thina amadoda for a very long time, amadoda ayidentify umntu athi lo mntu une-qualities, funa uqala ikhaya naye, ndibe nabantwana, ndithi. And amaxesha ayisuta into yoba ii-females maziseve, yayiqonda, because i-dream yayibayi-one. Indoda inale idea, they sell it to you. If uyayithanda as i-female, usapote la idea. Emveni koko usapota la idea, it means ke ngoku ungumntu ongumama, i-role yakho kukwakha ikhaya. Meaning yonke into ezi-affairs zalapha nguwe one-final say.
Yeah.
Uyayiqonda bapho nendoda, indoda uyibona ngomfazi indoda. Indoda xa iphucuka, akekho nje indoda kuthiwa uyayibona laa ndoda yasebenza because yakhetha umfazi onengqondo. I think ifike kwi-point apha they don't appreciate laa nto, ingathi kuba ina-value laa nto yoba umfazi asapote, aphule izi-strings from the front, aphule izi-strings from the back. Funeka umntu avele abe kwi-forefront, adominate, aconteste ntoni, aconteste laa dominance yendoda. Bengu-toe to toe. Xa ingu-toe to toe ke ngoku ayiphele kakuhle loo nto leyo, because indoda funeka ibeke nawe ubeke, konyukelane. Indoda ifuna ivoice soft. Indoda iyacengwa. Ngeke nje abangoku indoda bengayicengi, indoda iyacengwa.
Le attitude, mntakwethu, does it come from the history of subjugation? Yeah, females. Yoba sekudala sesiphethwe kanje
No.
niyaxoka nizophinda.
Yile nto bendisithi i-content esiyiconsumayo iyasibulala because ibuilda intoni i-expectations ezi-unrealistic. Ayikho into that you consume uthi it has no impact on me.
Yeah.
I'm just watching to while away time. No. I-psychology zethu all over the place because yonke into.
So i-narrative ekhoyo kahle
Kaloku
is
udestroya
reverse to what you
i-nuclear
mentioned.
family i-narrative ekhoyo because xa ubulala ifamily where kukhona i-hierarchy, xa ubulala phaa i-role yendoda, xa ubulala i-role yendoda, you disrupt the nuclear family. You've got access to each and everything in the house. What is being watched, what they are being exposed to. Yonke nje akho order because yi-freedom. Yabona ke freedom. I-freedom, unfortunately, ayina good results. You can go anywhere. I-democracy. Anywhere. Ayikho indawo ene-democracy right.
How so?
I-democracy, it means Mkhiva when you can do whatever you want to do. And if mna ndizokunqanda I'm infringing on ii-rights zakho, nawe xa u-infrinja kwii-rights zam ndizawukhalaza but akekho umntu ofumana into aqonda uba ndonelisekile ibe ingakhubekisi omnye.
Ndiyayiva le nto uyithethayo, and that happens in a democracy, but that's not democracy.
Kaloku idemocracy Mkhiva wonke umntu une-say, une-right. If bekuthiwa kokwenu yidemocracy, uyabeka utata wakho ilizwi lokugqibela, beka umama wakho ilizwi lokugqibela, umngene wena uconteste. Why akubakho consensus apho? As a result ningaphela ningenzanga.
Ayodemocracy le mntakwenu, i-abuse yedemocracy. Ndiba ndiyicacise ngolu hlobo ngokuyi-understanda kwam nto yakuthi is that idemocracy ithi unelizwe eliviwayo, nam ndinelizwe eliviwayo, kodwa isigqibo xa sithathiwe ugobela umthetho.
Xa kubulawa laa role yalaa mntu uthatha isigqibo,
ubetha idemocracy.
It means ke ngoku uyodestroya.
Uyadestroya kaloku.
Uyodestroya because uthengisela abantu i-illusion yoba yidemocracy kanti uyobabulala because akho protection. Akho protection. So I think indlela Khiva ubobona mani eyibuhlungu manje xa that's why ndingekho mde kwezi soapies neentoni. There's always ayidibani into enzeka phaa. Kukhona utata onxilayo, umama, utata ngumpedi, umama likhaladi, umntana wabo ngumvenda. Wayibona phi loo nto? Uyibona uba ayihambelani yonke into elapha and utata uhlale ngumakhenikhi, umama ayosebenza kwi-corporate, abone amadoda phaa kwi-corporate. Utata yena uhlale ethuku apha endlini, kuphele kushiywa utata, kumuvwe nezithephu. Ezithephu naye zimjikele endleleni. Ubone uba ithini imessage yale nto?
Men are crap, men are shit.
Exactly. The more uconsumer laa nto unconsciously iyakuprogram. Iyakuprogram. Athi umntu ngenye imini experience intoni? I-disappointment from a man because yena ebene-expectations. Indoda ingayenzi loo nto, ithi hayi into ethile andizokwazi uyenza because ndibethakele apha nalapha nalapha. Yeke kaloku lindele ntoni kwindoda? Yazi ii-utterances Mkhiva ndiye zandikhubekisa abantu qonda uba hayi why abantu bebukisa le nto eTV-ni? Beyibona yayiqonda ipower enayo laa nto. Emveni koko izawudlala Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, uphose la masimba. Kuthiwe Saturday yi-omnibus, abantwana bayanga esikolweni bahlale phambi babukele la mahololo. Babukele la mahololo.
Kuthiwe Saturday
omnibus. Emveni koko Mkhiva into wrong. Umntana wakho bukele YouTube. awukwazi no-argusha in principle ngento erongo. Uthi apha kokwam kukhona umthetho, into ethile ayizukwenzeka. Kuthiwe hayi andikungqinelani nawe, ayikho loo nto, itshophi. Uthi no, yi-principle. Kuthiwe masiyikhangele kuYouTube.
Khangela kuGoogle.
Khangele kuGoogle, YouTube, Google. Once ke ingaveli awuna-argument apho. Ngubani ke ngoku ukukhulisa abantwana? Uyaqomba awunapower kwi-household yakho. Ipower iphi? Ize norhulumente moslanda, ngurhulumente. So bayabenefit, bakhona abantu ababhenefithayo kwi-chaos. How do they benefit kwi-chaos? You ask yourself. Once Mkiva uqhekeka ifemeli, i-lawlessness ininzi. Inintsi i-lawlessness
Kulo community, kulo country.
Ewe kaloku kuba khona i-lawlessness, emveni koko amadoda angabi napower, yenza ke ngoku ithini, icreator ke ngoku i-division more and more, because xa uhlela amanye amadoda ikheyisi yakho iyavakala and niba banintsi. Xa bethetha nabanye abafazi nabo bayavana, bebe banintsi. Asikwazi ke ngoku reconcile sokhe into ebonakalayo, because mna ndingena ndisithi abafazi abamameli and abafazi abayihloniphi indoda. Angene sithi amadoda zizinja, amadoda akafuna utshintsha, amadoda akafuna ukhula. Iyenyuka laa message, iyaperpetuate nase-TV. Uyayibona ngoloo nto leyo? So kukhona ke ngoku le continuous growth of ungavisisani, because into endiyicommunicateayo ingena kuye as toxic masculinity. Toxic, awukwazi ukhola umntu out. Toxic. Yena uxela noba yintoni afuna ukuxela yona. Azikho ii-terms thina esinazo for bona. Bona abanazo ii-terms abanazo. Just nje xa ungathi uqala into ubindwe esuswini, wehle xa uqala ukwehla, wena uhleli uthe wena uyenza into ethile. Akwanto ebuhlungu endodeni ukogqitha upointe out izinto angazenziyo. Or upointe out izinto, hayi wena hleli ungathinanga. Hayi bo. Why?
Yes, but I mean, so maske size ke ngoku in terms of us ke ngoku soyi-2 talking about ukuba indoda that has committed themselves and made the decision that I want to be as masculine as I need to be. I want to be as masculine as I've grown up to be and as I've understood to be, right? I want to be committed and build a kai, right? That's what I want to do, right? Maybe I haven't found somebody yet, or I haven't figured out a plan on how that will needs to work, but this is what I want to do, all right? And I want to do that very well, right? I look at it from this perspective, but this is probably how a man should probably think about navigating a space. One is, if you live a life that's solely from the depths of your heart, the only thing that you feel you have value for is providing for somebody else and making sure their needs are fulfilled, you're in trouble. You're in trouble if that's solely what that is. Now, when a man does that for your partner, for your family, for all of that, that needs to come from an internal sense of, this is what I would like to achieve for myself. I would like to be known as a man that is able to build A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And as you move forward in you trying to create all of that with the principles that drive you, with the values that drive you, because if you say you want to build something, you've got to have a navigation system, right? And that comes with the values that you have, that comes with the boundaries that you have, that comes with the principles. Those are things that drives you to say, when this happens, I can't accept it, because if I accept it, that means it's deviating from what I'm trying to build. Yeah, understand?
Uzanika title xa accept.
Yabona ke, that's the point I'm trying to make.
Title ngoba toxic.
Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make, is that we need to have men that can do that, because if you can be able to articulate for yourself about the type of man you are, Because also Buddha, man, right? Remember that some of the qualities that men have, right, and that men have portrayed. Because you need aggression as a man, for instance. Wait. You need to be capable of aggression as a man. You need to be capable of being feared as a man. Lord. But now the integration of all those qualities is very important, because when you can integrate that, when you can integrate all of that, all of you, the soft part of you that exists, of course, there is a part that needs to exist for you to be able to have umdana that grows up. There needs to be a bit of that part that exists. But with that, there needs to be a very aggressive part of it that exists as well. But it's the control of all of those qualities and integration of those qualities that allow for you to build a home, whereby the female can come in as well into this home. Nikhuliso noithu. Akuve mntakwethu uba you're capable of uba you can protect and hold this ground. But also at the same time, you can help and support to look around. And they play a role in that. But if you don't understand Lord for yourself as a if you don't have that sense about this is what I need and I'm going to show it in this sort of way, right? If you don't have that, you run the risk when somebody comes in and says, you can't comprehend when you say no, what you're saying no to. And the reason why, if you can't comprehend what you're saying no to, is because you're not quite sure your value system going. You're not quite sure of your principles. Now, when you say no, it feels like you're a bitch-ass nigga, because how can you say no to somebody else's needs? But it needs to can turn into a space whereby they're impinging on yours. But if you don't know yours, you will end up falling for that. And you end up so all the bloody time.
Back to boundaries.
Yeah, bro.
Boundaries. Boundaries must be clear. Boundaries must be clear. And as a man, it's very, very, very important about uzihloniphe, because awungazihloniphi omnye umuntu akazokuhlonipha. Boundaries, andifuna ube ndiyisakude. Boundaries, create boundaries, emveni koko ungoyiki ubamba umuntu accountable xa ezawuthini afike kwi-boundaries afuna utsiba phaa ebona uba kukhona icingo elithi suwela.
And be okay with people being upset and not being okay with you because you stood up for Lando that you know you've been building for so long. Be okay with that. There are people that's supposed to move away.
It's been a very long time. Amadoda ngoku ii-boundaries zabo kuthiwa ayisuka ustrict awuyathanda uzigugi, so be okay with unikezwe labor. Iba okay. Emveni koko usukela namhlanje ubheka phambili ngoma sibe nee-boundaries madoda, and ii-boundaries zakho uzidefende with everything inside of you, because ngoku lilizwe yabona ngoilizwe, ilizwe is a mess, and into erayithi into erongo, into erongo into erayithi. But at least masithina sashiyekileyo abasane abayaziyo uba yintoni into erayithi, masikhe siyibambeni.
And just on another note, on the same kind of note, not another note, we've got to understand that bearing masculine qualities is a massive benefit to community, to the community, and to the household. Kodwa, we do acknowledge the fact that there are individuals who takes those masculine qualities and does not integrate them in a way that it contributes to society. They make use of them in ways that is very detrimental to society. And we've seen men that act in that way.
True.
But now the difference is that, and it makes it difficult for somebody who's been subjugated against to kind of have a sympathetic eye to, okay, bakhona lamadoda nje man, akhona lamadoda enza lento, but ke shem, we understand that. I think I understand that, right? But it's very important to understand about those qualities can be integrated in a way that they contribute to a household, and have a household whereby you've got roles that you play as a female, you've got roles that you play as a husband, and we can build from there. And everybody needs to understand about whatever we are doing in this partnership we're having, it's for the continuity of household, continuity of your family, continuity of your community. But once your move or your qualities and expressions, they break that down, then that's not an acceptable way of movement. The masculine part is not just inherently a toxic thing. It can't just inherently be a toxic thing, right? It has the potential to, yes, and we've seen that happening a lot, yes. But if you're gonna take all of it off, that's saying,
Yeah.
that's the idea. And I do think about men still need to have masculine qualities, because a lot of marriages that work is when you have a masculine partner in a lot of heterosexual marriages that work.
Ayibenefithi
Yeah.
umzi wakho qha i-community iyabenefit,
Exactly.
iyathriva because kukhona abantu abohlonitshwayo,
Mm.
bekhona abantu aboyikwayo.
Mm.
Xa khona abantu abahlonitshwayo besoyikwa,
Mm.
zikhona ii-behaviors eziye zingaveli within the community because khona ii-consequences. Because there's people that hold people into account. That listen, you went, jumped over the fence, you stole this person's cow. Now you must suffer the consequences. Ngoku loo nto leyo ayisekho, because once as a man you do something, because unfortunately ebomini, I'm gonna use a word I don't even know if it's in the dictionary, but I don't think it's in the dictionary. No one should ever live a consequenceless life. Life has consequences, good and bad consequences, but life has consequences. So you can't do izinto ezirongo and then you want to divorce yourself from the actions when the consequences are approaching. You take the good and the bad. So now communities are not safe anymore. You get kids roaming around the streets ebusuku, they are raping people, they are shooting people, they are smoking zonke izinto. There are houses that are known uba yho indlu yentsango, indlu yepilisi. Kanti kudala it wouldn't even be your kid. If khona ootata abakhoyo kwi-community bazothiwa khona umzi wentsango, they will go to that house ebusuku ngelaa xesha kuthiwa bapha. They will turn that place upside down. Soze iphinde yenzeke loo nto leyo. But now ibulala ntoni laa nto? Ibulala laa responsibility. No one wants to take that responsibility because you'll be arrested. Uyayiqonda? So iyapromothwa i-lawlessness. Because once you promote i-lawlessness, you create chaos kwi-society. Once you create chaos kwi-society, you create intoni? I-dependency, because there's no progression. There's no growth, akufundwa, kuthiwani. Government now can do anything they want with aba bantu because they are so dependent, because abakwazi nothini without government. Government bona bambona as the oxygen. Uyayiqonda? It's by design, that system. I call it's by design. Because the more people you have under your control, you can drive any narrative. So this pot is being stirred. Mane kufakwa nje different ingredients. Uzanyiswa ukuyazanyiswa. And iyavuthwa. Men are not benefiting. Women are not benefiting. Kids are not benefiting. Societies are not benefiting. It's sikwenye nje i-deterioration enzima. No one is benefiting. But ngoku it's so late that these things ezirong, they do come with the benefits kwabanye abantu. For example, ungajonga in communities, schools are closing down. Kuthiwa akusekho bantwana kwizikolo. You find that kwindawo mhlambe ilali beziyi-6, khona izikolo eziyi-6, consolidate sibe yi-1 isikolo, where kids now have to walk 10 kilometers to school, 10 kilometers back, or even 20 abanye. Uyayiqonda? I-society is suffering. Society, it's suffering, but as long as izawucreate that dependence. Because if abantu balambe isisu sithe nxa emqolo, afike ugovernment ephethe 350, ugovernment ihero. Uyayiqonda? Kukhona abantu ngosebe-happy kuhlala nje bengenzi into so that bazoba na-access to la 350. Do you understand? Ingqondo yaloo mntu will never improve.
Our final word for the chat that we're having when it comes to men in relationships. What do you say to men in relationships when as a message in terms of moving forward?
Be bold. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with relationship. And be brutally honest also with your needs. As much as the other person, I was you are brutally honest with their needs. You know. So I think now boundaries very, very important. Even if we get opportunity now. It's an opportunity because this does not say my pen relationship, but you are redefining a relationship to ensure that it goes as further as you had imagined for your relationship. Based on a very good foundation and principle. Because once the relationship, once you be honest, iyaphela ayo relationship. Be open and honest, be bold, be brave, be okay with upsetting the other person with the honesty. You are not destroying them, you are building them. So that's my final word.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that one, Spider-Man. What I would say is do not move into a space of a committed relationship with the intention of obviously getting married and all of that. Do not move into that space purely from the perspective that you are now 30 years old and you should be.
Yeah.
It's the first part of it. Don't move into that space. If you can't sit with yourself and truly understand what's that about and why it is that it is important for you to get into the relationship space, don't get into it. If you can't explain that for yourself. And once you come to a space where you've acknowledged and you think that this is a proper space for me, this is what I want to do, and you understand that this is what you want to build for yourself, right? Then start thinking about what that actually looks like for you on the ground.
Yeah.
On the ground. That's a very important part of it. Now, I'm not saying you figure all of this thing out once and then go find a partner for yourself. No. But understand that there's a commitment to fully growing this man that you've identified yourself you wanted to be, and continue directly moving towards that. Now, the person that will be with you will probably be doing the same thing. They will come into a relationship with the exact expectations of what it is that they're looking for on the ground. And they're going to be asking for you to help them fulfill that. Right? If you're not sure about your needs, all you will be ever doing is fulfilling their needs.
Yeah.
That's all you will ever be doing. And what's going to happen is that when they ask you about your needs, if you that means two things. Better not necessarily physically, but like you've been beaten down every time. You have some sense of say you've been beaten down to a point where you can't articulate yourself anymore, or you yourself haven't truly figured that out. Regardless of what the reason is, it's not a good recipe. So you've got to make sure you understand what that looks like, how it can be fulfilled, and you'll grow to understand more and more and more of yourself. That's okay. But once you're in there, you've got to understand it. So both of y'all, when y'all come together, that honesty that Budaman was mentioning, that those boundaries can be formed so that y'all keep growing this thing together. Now, when you are together in that relationship, it can't be purely just about you. Right? Any work y'all need to do will have to be with the mindset and attitude of growing what you guys have contributed, have committed yourself to contribute towards. She needs to gobela umthetho. You need to gobela umthetho for this plan.
Also,
for this plan. It can't be a matter of I'm the boss of the meal and the inward. And I will cruise too.
Yeah.
It can't be that, right? When either of you are move in ways that doesn't communicate this, then it's not a movement. Movement, the end of that we've come across, that we've come to say we decide is a move, right? And then a decision is made, and people have responsibilities and roles to play to make sure that it's grown.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at when it comes to a man in a relationship.
Hayi watye wonke mhlobo.